welcome. I'm Peggy. Thank you so much for tuning us in today. And we have some good information to share with you, some much needed information. And we have, of course, we have those phone numbers and where you can follow through on your own. And I have two really special people here. Lisa Van Riper is here. And Lisa is with North Greenville University. She's the Director of Public Affairs. She teaches there, but today she has another hat on.
That's right.
Which I know is very important to you. The South Carolina Citizens for Life.
Correct.
And you have, this is a statewide.
It is. It's a statewide organization that was started in 1974 here in Orangeburg, South Carolina. We have offices in Columbia, and our job is we worked for education and legislation toward restoring sanctity of life in our culture.
And we're making progress.
We are.
We really are.
Yes, we are.
And Jeannie Stoner is here. And Jeannie is here on behalf of the Piedmont Women's Center. And you have the Abortion Recovery Assistance Programs.
Yes, we do.
So you come from different angles.
We do. The fight for life is fought on a lot of different fronts.
Mm-hmm. We've made progress in South Carolina and in the South. I don't know about other parts of the country as far as the law is concerned. But
yes,
right now, our legislature is considering and debating changes.
Correct. For our audience, let me give them some good news.
All right.
Since 1973, when we had Roe versus Wade that legalized abortion for virtually all 9 months of pregnancy, we had to start over with laws. Our laws were struck down, so we had no protective legislation for the unborn in South Carolina. And so we began to work to restore legislation, and we worked with education. We worked to make sure that people had care for crisis pregnancies, adoption agencies, and we also worked to restore legislation. And since that time, we have passed 13 bills here in South Carolina that has helped to raise the status of the unborn and to protect women and their unborn children. And we have folks like Jeannie, who works at the Piedmont Women's Center. We have the Piedmont Women's Center and 25 other crisis care centers across the state. We have adoption agencies. We have pastors who give moral instruction on this. We just have so many efforts underway, and in the past 20 years, abortion is now at its lowest level since 1976 in this state.
All right, haven't we closed some of the abortion clinics?
Yes, we have. We have. There was one. Well, there have been several here in Greenville that have been closed down. Mm-hmm. But Piedmont Women's Center is located. Two of their centers are were located next door to the abortion clinics, and the one on Lawrence Road, the abortion clinic on Lawrence Road, was closed through prayer and through actions very similar to what Lisa does. And then the one on Grove Road is still beside one of the largest abortion clinics in the state of South Carolina.
And what does our law say? That you can have an abortion all the way until the child can live on its own?
In many jurisdictions in the United States, that is what it says. Because Roe versus Wade said in the first trimester, a woman can have an abortion for any reason, no reason. You don't have to give a reason, as long as she gives her consent and a doctor performs it. In the second trimester, that's the beginning of 12 to 14 weeks through 24 weeks of pregnancy, a woman may have an abortion for any reason, no reason. She does not have to give a reason, as long as a doctor performs it and the woman consents. However, the state may tell her where to have the abortion. So in South Carolina, for example, you have to have those later abortions in hospitals because it becomes more dangerous to have the abortion. Yes. And then Roe versus Wade in the third trimester, and let me just show, I have a little model right here. This is a third trimester baby. From this
Now
point
that is
on,
the actual sign.
yes, from 24 weeks on, this is a third trimester baby. Babies born at this point receive care in our neonatal units. They have a statistically good chance of surviving, neurologically and physically intact. But the law said that in the beginning of the third trimester, the state may restrict or prohibit, may, and that's a key word, may, to preserve the life of the mother or to preserve the health. Well, health then was very broadly defined to mean anything, even the stress of future child care. And a state didn't have to put in any restrictions. Many states, Peggy, have put in no restrictions. So in many of our states, a woman can get an abortion, and that does not mean early delivery of the child. That means the destruction of this child up to the day of delivery. And in South Carolina, the law is that if two doctors agree the health of the mother, now remember that's broadly defined, including mental health, that she can get an abortion in this state. So we do ask that a woman give a reason in the third trimester, but there is no ban on abortion, even in the third trimester in the state of South Carolina.
And you had some other figures.
I do, and I've just put them down to, yes.
This is something most of us would not have seen.
Well, this is just for reference. This is the 12-week, and you can see that it's perfectly formed. If many young ladies now go in and they'll have their 12-week ultrasound. I just found out just 2 days ago that my daughter is pregnant and she's 12 weeks. So her little baby is this big right now. This is 12 weeks. So from the point of conception to this point, this is first trimester. From this point up to this point is second trimester. And then past this point to the point of birth is third trimester. So that's what the law is. So and the reason is that the Supreme Court failed to recognize the life of the unborn and to recognize, therefore, that the state had an interest in preserving life. You see, for you and for Jeannie and me, it's recognized the state has an interest in preserving our life. So there are restrictions on people harming us. And if someone were to harm us, then there would be penalties. But there's no restriction. For the life of the unborn, there's no state interest. Roe versus Wade said the state has no interest in the life of this child until possibly the third trimester. And then the definition is so broad on the definition of health, there's virtually no protection. So that's what South Carolina Citizens for Life has been trying to do through legislation, is to begin to help restore some status for this unborn and some protection. And then the Piedmont Women's Center and other centers around the state try to minister to women, to give them real choice, to give them real alternatives. And then for those women who have had abortions, there are many that are left so emotionally and psychologically scarred. Then Jeannie has a program through the Piedmont Women's Center to help offer hope to these women.
Because they're hurting, many times years after the event.
Yes, it never really goes away. We've all had children, and we know how we felt when we knew we were expecting, and I know how Lisa feels knowing that she's got a new grandbaby on the way. And so even if it's an unwanted child, there is a maternal bond that happens naturally in us, whether you're Christian or not. That is part of the creation in us. And so when that child's life is gone, there's an emptiness, a void that's left, and it can cause all kinds of problems within the woman's life. I also want to mention that there are, men are also affected by abortion.
We don't usually think about that.
But they are, very much so. And we now have a program, we have had a program. The Bible study we use for men is called Healing a Father's Heart. The one we use for the women is Forgiven and Set Free. That's the men's Bible study.
This is for the men?
And this is for the women. and they're both by Linda Cochran. And it is a healing journey through the Bible, and it is amazing what happens. We've been doing this ministry for 22 years, and we've seen so many women and men set free from the bondage that comes with an abortion. One of the things that is that happens is they go into a secret place, and nobody knows it except them. And I know you've seen this film that we did a couple of years ago, Set Free.
Yes.
And it has both men and women in it, and they talk about the wounds that they have from abortion. And as Piedmont Women's Center, we want to be there for the woman who comes in a crisis and she's pregnant. But we also want to be there for the woman and the man that have already had an abortion and need help in healing. And 47% of women who come into centers across the country have already had one abortion. So when they come into a pregnancy resource center and they are wanting help for a pregnancy, or they're there as a mistaken place, sometimes they just come to the wrong place and they come in thinking that it is the abortion clinic. Of course, we tell them that we are not the abortion clinic, but we can offer them the free ultrasounds.
There's no charge, for instance,
no,
for these sessions that you have?
No, they are free, and the free ultrasounds and free pregnancy test.
And they're ongoing. They're these classes, kind of.
The classes, the Forgiven and Set Free and Healing a Father's Heart, we run them during the year. Yeah. We usually have
so if you miss one session, you can call.
Yes, and we would love for you to call.
And we do have a phone number. Well, actually, we have two phone numbers. And one is Columbia, 803, and that is for the whole state of South Carolina. And the other one, the 244-1434, is here in the upstate.
Yes.
And that is for anyone who is interested in learning more about what the Piedmont Women's Center does
and the
and
healing.
your classes, and there is no charge for any of this.
No, we actually, there is a charge for the materials, the Bible study,
Okay.
but any woman or man who can't pay for the Bible study, and it's $20. There are scholarships available for anybody. So basically, it is open to anybody.
But if a woman comes there, you don't charge her for the ultrasound or the help that you try to give her.
No, it's all free. It is a service to the women and to the community of Greenville, and the pregnancy care centers across the state and the country are the same way.
And I know we have to go to a break, but I know you're not an adoption agency, but you try to open the door so women see that there are other alternatives.
And we do refer.
And you help with that.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Yeah.